Hello everyone, this is Breanna Rutter, author of one of my most popular books, The Natural Hair Bible, and founder of howtoblackhair.breannarutter. For these videos, I answer the questions that you all send me via email. So if any of you have any questions that you would like for me to answer, check out the description box below for more information. This video is because of an email that I received from Jazzy, and Jazzy goes on to say that for 7 years she has been doing everything that she can and learning as much as she can for hair growth. So for 7 years she's been applying all of this knowledge to her hair and is stagnant at the same length. She feels as though she doesn't understand why this is happening and if there's anything that she's doing wrong to let her know. So she gave me the whole spiel about all the products, the different things that she's using, what she's doing to take care of her hair at night, in the morning, and different things like that. And in my book, everything checked out to the fact that she should be growing her hair and retaining length. So she doesn't understand why she cannot grow past a certain length, considering that she's doing everything that's possible for healthy hair. And I see where she's at, and I'm also going to break down 5 points on why I believe that a lot of people will never be able to achieve long hair. Point number 1. So Jazzy, my first point is that I know that you're doing everything correct. You're keeping up with your trims, you're doing your deep conditionings, you're making sure to sleep with a satin or silk bonnet, and everything possible it is to retain length. And you're doing everything correct. And the only issue of why your hair will never be able to reach past a certain length is because of genetics. Genetics controls everything about you. You're born with a certain tone or look to your skin. You're born with a certain eye color. You're born with a certain bone structure. You're born at a certain height. You're born to be athletic or not as athletic as someone else. So genetics has a lot to do with your highest potential. And because you've been doing everything you can for 7 years, every day in and out, doing what's best for your hair and following everything to a T, you're at your terminal length. You're at the longest length that you as a person individually, genetically, can naturally reach. Now, someone else may genetically be able to reach a longer length, and there's been plenty of different situations of women that I've seen have hair that reach down to the floor. And some people want that hair and some people don't. But genetically, that's probably the longest length that they can actually grow as an individual person. Now, someone else may be able to only grow their hair, say for instance, to their shoulders, and after that, it just doesn't get any longer no matter how much they do to it or what they're doing to keep it healthy. So just to let you know, yes, you're doing everything and your hair is growing and it's healthy, but you will only be able to reach a specific length because it's all due to genetics. Point number 2. So my second point is to talk a little bit more about genetics and what it has to do with hair growth or hair length, because I know a lot of you watching are wondering, okay, well, how do I know if my genetics is affecting the length that I'm at, or whether or not I can actually have a longer length or a shorter length? And what I'm going to tell you is that genetics, the only way you can blame genetics is if day in and day out for 6 years you've been doing everything you possibly can to grow your hair and retain length, and yet it's still stagnant at a specific length. This is due to the fact that hair goes through a life cycle, and there's 3 stages of this life cycle. You have the anagen phase, the catagen phase, and the telogen phase. And I go through extreme detail about the phases of hair growth in my books. So if you want to learn detailed information about hair and what to do to combat different things to grow your hair longer and understand the growth cycle, then you can check that out. But a breakdown really quick is that the anagen phase is the phase in which your hair is growing from the scalp. The catagen phase is the resting phase because this is a phase where it's no longer growing, but this is the phase where it's shifting into the telogen phase. And the telogen phase is when you shed your hair and then a new hair begins to grow in, which is the anagen phase. Now, the last phase before your hair actually grow out, which is before your hair actually falls out, which is the catagen phase, is the phase that's at least about somewhere between 4 to 6 years. So if you've been doing everything day in and day out on the dot to grow your hair and retain length, and you're doing everything that you're possibly supposed to do that for 6 years straight, that's your terminal length. That's your longest length of hair, whether it's waist length, whether it's back length, whether it's shoulder length, whether it's neck length. So if you're doing everything you possibly can, that's your longest length of hair. So do not dismiss genetics. If you have not been going in and day out doing your trims, your deep conditions, and protective styling and things like that to keep your hair growing and retaining length for 6 years straight, She's been doing everything for 7 years straight and her hair still is at a certain length, so that's her terminal length. Now, you have to keep doing the things that's right and keep learning your hair if you don't meet those specific requirements, because when you do, you will see where your terminal length is as well. Point number 3. So Jazzy, my third point is that in this instance, some people are just more genetically blessed than others to grow their hair to long lengths. And what I mean by this is that it's present in a lot of different ethnicities. You will see someone who's white who simply just shampoos and conditions their hair, and they can get their hair to grow all the way to their hips. And yet you can see an instance of someone who's been growing their hair for 5 years and been day in and day out doing everything possible to retain length and grow their hair, and they're still growing very slowly or they're at a stagnant length. This is just a difference in a prime example in genetics. Someone can literally have no experience with styling or caring for their hair or maintaining it, and yet they can just make sure to just keep their hair clean and maybe not even condition it as much as what you would, and they can still get very long hair, especially when it comes to the actual grade or texture of your hair. Now, if you have very curly or coily hair, like say for instance I do, I have type 4 natural hair. I have to do everything that I could possibly do to get my hair to grow to a length that I want and also to grow consistently. I had to keep up with my trims because I can easily get split ends and single strand knots at the ends. I have to keep it protected so that way it's not going through that additional manipulation that will also cause breakage, and I have to keep my hair moisturized or the dryness will make it break and also make it become very frizzy near the ends, which leads to damage. So this is just the cards that I've been dealt. I know that I can get long hair if I keep putting in the work, just like anyone else who has long hair under my situation. They just constantly did the right things every single day to grow their hair at a long length. But at one point, you're going to hit that terminal length because that's how genetics is. So I want you to understand that yes, you can keep doing everything that you can, but it's obvious that you've already hit the length or the length of hair that you already genetically predisposed to. Point number 4. So my fourth point is that we always want to believe that the grass is greener on the other side, but in reality, each and every one of us has advantages and disadvantages in life and genetically. So genetically speaking, you're at your terminal length of hair. That's the longest length of hair that you've genetically been blessed with. Now, this is a problem if this is not the length that you want. You actually want a longer length. So in a sense, that's your disadvantage genetically. But you may have a different advantage in another area if you have naturally white teeth, or if you have a naturally very curvy structure to your body, or a very slender and petite frame to your body. You may be at an advantage because you're smarter than someone else, or you have accumulated certain degrees and things like that. So just because you are at a disadvantage genetically doesn't mean that you are not, or that you are in different areas of your life, whether we're speaking just on genetics or also in other realms of your life. For some people, they wish to have a certain relationship like somebody else because they feel like their love is perfect rather than the relationship they have. So there's always something that you feel that you have or don't have that you think someone else has or don't have. And we're all at an equal playing field here because there are advantages and disadvantages that I have genetically and even in my life than someone else has in their situation. Point number 5. So Jazzy, my last and final point that I want to express to just tie this all in together and to bring home is that you just have to love your hair no matter what length you have or what length you are desiring to have. And then you also just have to accept yourself in all ways because there's a lot of things that no matter how hard we try, we cannot change about ourselves. So in this instance, whether your hair is at collarbone length, shoulder length, waist length, floor length, you just have to accept the hair that you have because it's your hair. There's somebody, trust me, there is somebody wishing they had your hair, they had the type of thickness or the type of thinness that you have or the look to your hair. They want the type of curls that you have or the type of straightness that you have. There's something that you have with your hair that someone is coveting over and wishing they could have. And everyone is like that in different ways because we always look to someone else or something else and say, I wish to have that. That would be so cool if my hair looked like that, or if my hair did this. So just accept the length that you have and flaunt it and appreciate it and embrace it. Because trust me, there are a lot of people who go through different situations in life and different things that happen that wish they could have hair. So simply appreciate the fact that you can actually have hair and grow your hair and enjoy your hair. Now also, in the sense of even in body types, there are always people who wish that their body looked a certain way. Some people wish they were a little bit more muscular. Some people wish they had a little bit more cushion to their body because they feel like their body is too masculine or muscular. Some people wish they were taller, shorter. We're genetically here. We're genetically at the position that we're at to look a certain way, to speak a certain way, to sound a certain way, to like certain colors, to appreciate certain styles and things like that. So just to tie it all in together, it's your hair, appreciate it and love it. So thank you for your email. I hope that I can put a lot of things into perspective as far as genetics and things like that to help you to understand that everyone does have a terminal length, especially if you've been doing everything day in and day out to grow your hair. So I want to thank all of you for watching, and of course, leave me any comments on anything that was spoken, and continue to express the things that you would like to continue to see, and of course, email me. And before any of you go, make sure to sign up for my email list so that way you can be automatically entered for giveaways that I do. And also, only there I will update you all with exclusive content. So until then, I will see you all in my very next video.